Welcome back. Next up, a dramatic piece. Mona Fastfold and Brady Corbett have created what is referred to as a destabilizing atmosphere in an unraveling relationship between two sisters that is the basis of the film, The Sleepwalker. Here, the main character, that Sleepwalker. Christine in the film is Stephanie Ellis. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, thanks
nice
for having
to see
me.
you, absolutely.
Thanks so much.
You told me just before we came on that Mona and Brady wrote these characters with the casting, in essence, already done, and this character, Chris, for you. Talk about your initial, I guess, experience with the process. Was there dialogue between you and Brady and Mona as far as you knew that you were going to play this character, but did you have input on the character in that part of the process?
So we were, I guess, all four of us had the actors. So it was Christopher Abbott and Gita Witt, who plays my sister, and then Brady, who also plays my fiance. We all knew each other beforehand, so we had a certain shorthand as actors. But then in terms of the process, Mona and Brady brought us on at certain points, certain drafts as they were working through it, and we had table reads.
Do some table reads.
We did some table reads, so we got
neat.
to get familiar with the character, the way the character was forming in our own mouths and in our bodies, and in that way we had input, not sort of story-wise, but in like I guess we were bringing our own influence to the table during the reads, and that influenced them then in the process.
Well, I probably got a little bit ahead of myself because I'm such a fan of actors, and this process that you went through, I probably should have started by saying, tell folks a short synopsis of the story in which you are participating.
Okay, so essentially there's these two estranged sisters who haven't seen each other in some time. There's Kaya, who is Gita Witt's character, and she's living in our family's estate, a sort of isolated estate upstate in Massachusetts, and she's living there with her boyfriend, and she's renovating it, and they have a lovely existence going on. And then unannounced, my character turns up in the middle of the night and brings with her a whole heap of energy from the past, and then her fiance turns up, and I guess over the next several days we watch chaos ensue, I guess you'd say. Yeah.
Nicely put.
Yeah.
Was the location in place so that even before you filmed, you were able to kind of get the physical experience of this house that
Yes.
I understand it's quite a place.
I mean, the house is a character in a lot of ways, because the way that the environment affects each character is really strong. It really is like the fifth character. And the script was written with the house in mind. They secured the location before we started shooting, and then as the script was developing. And it really influences the story. It really does.
Before we go any further, let's take a look at the clip, and then I'm sure we'll have lots more to talk about. Oh, it's another of those moments when I want to just press pause on this show and go ahead and screen the film right now.
That'd be nice.
Talk about, as an actor, this feel in this clip that we see. It's silence. There's a great deal of breathing room happening. Talk about the difference between sort of dialogue-driven scenes and pieces of a film and scenes like this, and how you deal with that as an actor.
So, I mean, in this film in particular, there's like such a distinction between the dialogue-heavy scenes, because they're so deliberately written. Like, nothing's improvised in this scene. It's very specific for each character, because each character is almost representing an archetype. So we really workshopped the dialogue-heavy scenes, and then there was so much space in the scenes. For example, like how you just watched with the sleepwalking, because you really get to bring, I guess, the weight and the history of each character, because you're experiencing it through your body, and you're trying to bring all of that with you. And as I was sort of saying earlier, the sleepwalking and the silent moments in this are sort of acting as a metaphor for something deeper. So I guess in the preparation of that, with the silent moments, it's just about really sitting in your character and just being in the moment and present.
And I would imagine that this had to have been a really delicious shooting experience, given that you knew these characters really well. Is that a lot different than other experiences that you've had as an actor where you kind of audition, get the part, we're shooting soon,
Yeah.
just get her done and
Yeah.
figure it out?
Yeah, definitely. Because I guess there was a lot more collaboration in some sense prior to it. And then this set was like just a very tight ensemble for actors and really getting to know each other really well, living for a month up in Massachusetts together. So it was really like a dichotomous experience to shooting, for example, television or
Right.
any other type of work that I had done. Yeah, it was delicious is a good word. It was a delicious experience, it really was. Yeah.
The other thing that's always fascinating to me is to sit in a setting like this and we're having such a nice time, and yet the subject matter of this film and your character has so much that at the beginning of the film is unexplained and it's maybe partially unraveled over the course of the film, and yet there's all of this heaviness about the character. How do you deal with that in the course of shooting? Do you blow off steam, or are you one of those persons who stays living in that character during the entire time of shooting?
I do have an element of staying in the character, and with this character, she definitely wore off on me. But I think it was nice to have, it was like such a tight-knit crew and with the other actors that I was able to blow off some steam in some sense.
I'm relieved.
Yeah, I mean, she is a dark character, but she also has like certain motivations that are very specific to her, and if you latch onto those rather than just the darkness of her history or what she conceives her history as being, because there's also that, you know, in this film with everyone having their own conceived version of reality. And she is a little bit more lucid than what we think in the first place. So she has good qualities to a fault, so sometimes it's nice to just rest in those good qualities, you know?
Good for you, indeed.
Yeah.
How's your festival been? How's the reception been?
The reception's been wonderful. I feel like we've had a lot of great response. And for me, the festival's been, you know, incredible, but also overwhelming for my first experience. And we've had some downtime the last 2 days, so we've been able to see some other movies, which is nice. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, best wishes.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Stephanie Ellis, the film is The Sleepwalker. I'm going to do one more thing. Other screenings?
Yeah, there are other screenings tonight, this afternoon at 3:30 at Eccles.
Oh, good.
And then Saturday as well.
Good. We like to make sure that people get a chance to see this film after we've had a little bit of a teaser and a wonderful conversation. We'll be right back after this with more In the Can. Please stay tuned.